Back again with another Q&A video. This time is all trick riding focused, so I thought that would be fun to kind of change it up a little bit and get into some trick riding. So first question. So the first question I got was, how do you start trick riding, or how do you get into it? And the first step I would take if I knew nothing about trick riding would most likely be find a Facebook group. We have a lot of trick riding Facebook groups that there are a lot of instructors in, and you can either look in the search bar or you can actually write a question and ask, say where you're at and if there's any coaches nearby. After that, you need to do your research on the person, whether or not you think they're going to be a good fit for you. Look at how many performances they're doing, their resume, watch them ride, see, like, compare to other trick riders, and kind of just see if you think that's going to be a good fit for you, and if that's somebody that actually knows what they're doing or somebody that just self-taught themselves to trick ride, because trick riding is very dangerous. So you want to find a good coach and somebody that actually knows the safety behind trick riding, and not somebody that just tells you to hang upside down and hope for the best, if that makes sense. How much does it cost is the second trick, and that is going to vary depending on literally everything. I'm going to start just go and kind of explain equipment. So our saddles, they are specially made trick riding saddles. They've got a different tree than a typical Western saddle would. And a saddle is going to range between $3,000 to like $8,000, I would say, depending on what you want. The cheaper side of a trick riding saddle is going to be about $3,000. There's about 3 really good name brand trick riding saddles, 3 or 4. If you happen to see a trick riding saddle on Facebook Marketplace for $200, do not buy it. It will most likely get you hurt. They have a trick riding saddle brand called Hallasan that is extremely dangerous, so I would not recommend those at all. There have been multiple people get hurt and several die from using a Hallasan saddle because they're not built to hold you. You can order them off of Walmart, and that should tell you everything you need to know about those saddles. So that would probably be the most expensive piece of equipment. I mean, we have different bridles as well, reins. I mean, just like anything, any sport and horses, I mean, you've got different things for whether you're riding English, Western, pleasure, reining, whatever it is. There's different equipment you're going to have to be using, as well as travel expenses, hauling your horse. Whenever you get there, you're paying for a stall, all of that fun stuff. So I can't really say like a set price because it honestly just depends on how much you're doing and what you're doing with it. Do you have to be flexible is the third question, and I'm going to be totally real with y'all. I am probably the least flexible person in the world. I cannot do a split. I can barely touch my toes. Like, I am not the most flexible person in the world, and I trick ride. I took 2 gymnastics classes, absolutely hated it, and never went back. So no, I don't think you have to be flexible. That being said, like, you have to be able to move your body in weird ways and be okay with that, and it's probably going to be uncomfortable, but you don't have to, it's not a qualification, like you have to be able to do this so many times, like nothing like that. I want to add on to that question though, because you don't have to be flexible, but you do have to be in good physical shape. You must be able to hold your body weight for a good long time, as we are holding our body up throughout the entire lap we make doing a pattern or a trick, a lap around the arena, whatever it is. So you do have to be physically strong. I'm not saying you have to be like the Hulk, but you do need to be physically strong enough to be able to hold your body weight up and do sit-ups, push-ups, all that fun stuff, pull-ups. So that would be probably the biggest thing. The next question, sorry, I got like my list of questions over here beside the camera. That's why I keep looking over there. The next question is how to teach your horse to trick ride. And honestly, first of all, you want to get a horse that is very forgiving and a horse that doesn't care what you're doing on it. That just lets you hit, swing, bang, whatever it is on him and not care. And then so once you get that down really good in a horse that's really desensitized, we start teaching them the pattern. So if you ever see like the videos, we have this tape up, we call it trick tape. It's just like this, like flags, banners, whatever it is, kind of like you see at a car dealership. And our horse, so we start in what we call the station, and then there's the station, there's the hole, and then there's our pattern lap. So we start over here in the station and we turn to the left and we go, and the horse will follow that tape, which is what we call it, around the arena. When it gets to the end of the tape, they know they can start turning. And then when we get to the opposite side of the arena, about even where we started, our horse comes down to a stop. Stop, we turn them towards the crowd or towards the fence and go back to our station to start over. So we just do a lot of drilling that. We do that same pattern lap over and over and over again until it just becomes natural for them. And then we'll start doing it with tricks. And we pony horses, have one horse ponying the other horse that's trying to learn, and just do it over and over and over again, and then eventually pick it up. It's pretty easy because it's just one lap around and stop. So they get the hang of it pretty fast. It's not like we have to do like 2 circles one way, 2 the other way, so it's nothing like crazy like that. So that's really like the most important thing is the pattern. And because if your horse is good with you trick riding and they're well behaved, then really all you gotta do is teach them the pattern, and then you slowly will start adding the speed with that. And then putting the pieces together. That was just kind of like a very simple version of how we teach the horses. Is it harder on horses' bodies compared to riding them normal? And absolutely yes, because I mean, it is hard, I'm not gonna lie, but we are literally pulling their bodies over, holding on the side of them. So it's definitely harder than just riding Western and just sitting on top of them for sure. However, we make sure our horses stay feeling their best. Most of us are regular chiropractor massages, all kinds of stuff. They're getting treated very well, making sure that there's no discomfort in them. If there is, we make sure to call somebody and get help immediately. As regular, we are very like in tune with our horses. We don't want them to hurt. At the end of the day, we are hanging upside down on them. We want them to feel their best so we can feel our best, if that makes sense. And vice versa. Cody's over here staring at me like, I think I need to be included. Hold on, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see. Cody, what do you think? I'm talking about you. Do you feel good? You feel good? Yeah? Anyways, I really hope this is recording. Okay, it is. So yeah, it is harder because we are pulling on them. My saddle pad that I use is supposed to distribute the weight throughout her body, so it's not so much just like on the left side. All of our tricks, unless we're doing like vaults or neck tricks, there's some tricks that will pull from the right side, but we always slope to the left. So most of our tricks, we are hanging on the left side of their body. So if they are sore, it is typically on that side, as well as I know like my body, I'm more sore on my left side of my body usually more so than I am my right. So it is harder. However, we do our very best to make sure the horses are always feeling their best. Let's see what the next question is. How long did it take for me to learn trick riding? I want to say that's kind of hard to really put in, because it takes a long time to get good at trick riding. However, you can learn it decently fast, I would say. I had a little fake horse on my back porch that I practiced tricks over and over and over again with. So like I learned pretty much all the tricks and all the basic tricks, and then I just practiced them all the time in my back porch on my little fake horse. So I like knew how to do the tricks. However, it's so different learning the tricks at a standstill then to a walk, and then a jog, and then a lope, and then going from a slow lope to a run, it's totally different. And it is easier the faster we go on the horses, but it's easier on them and it's easier on us. The slower they go, usually the harder it is, because it's more bounce on our bodies, their bodies. So usually you see us going pretty fast, not just because it's a wow factor, which it is, but it's also way easier on the both of us. But I want to say it probably took me like a year to get like my tricks where I knew which trick names were, practicing them pretty regularly. I think I trick rode two years before my first performance, and then I did a bunch of clinics and just continued learning, and I think I am on maybe my fifth year of trick riding now. Don't quote me on that because I'm not really sure. But yeah, it just kind of depends. It really just depends on how often you're getting lessons, how often you are practicing at home, are you putting in the work. It was so much more than just practicing on my little dummy horse too. Sorry, these flies keep biting me. I used to go everywhere. Like I'd get on the grocery carts and put my leg up like I was doing on one foot. And when like I was sitting anywhere, I would practice pushing my hips out like I was doing the hippodrome. Like I was always doing something, trying to do push-ups, like really just make myself better for trick riding. Let's see. Was it hard when you started? It was. Trick riding is very hard. It's more hard on your body than it is anything. A lot of it is mental. I will say, like, you get mental blocks doing some tricks. Like some tricks you might think is like, oh, this is easy as can be, and then you go do another trick that might not even be any harder, but your mind is like, oh gosh, I don't know. So you have mental blocks for some tricks, and then I'm gonna say it's really hard on us physically. We hurt all the time, and we have bruises like it is so crazy. You would not think we have bruises literally all over our body after we trick ride. Eventually your body gets used to it, especially if you're doing like the same tricks, but you go to get into another trick and you will have like bruises for days. People will think you are abused. So it's hard on our bodies for sure. Anything I would do different if I could go back? Honestly, probably start sooner. I would definitely like to start sooner. I would probably, I don't know, because I'm thankful for the steps I took to get here, and it led me to the people that I got to meet, and for good reason. So honestly, there's really nothing besides start a little bit earlier. And then the hardest trick I've learned is, I'm gonna say my full back bend. That's one that I think is so cool, and that would be so much fun to like get to run at. That one's pretty cool. That one is probably one of the hardest tricks that I've got to really do. I've only done that one at a jog. I have never got to lope it before, but that one was probably one of the hardest ones because you're going into it and then you have to get into your back bend, and then you're like holding your body in it, and then have to pop back up. That was pretty hard, I think. How often do you practice? And this one varies depending on my schedule. When I didn't have a horse, I would not practice for months and months, and I would just fly in and go do a performance. I would only be practicing on my little dummy horse that I had on the back of my porch. Now that I have Cody, if I don't have a performance for like a good time out, I'm probably practicing once a week, once every other week. Sometimes if like things are really busy, I might only practice once or twice a month. I've got a rodeo next weekend. Right now I am practicing twice a week. It's not something that we can really practice every day because it's hard on their bodies, it's hard on our bodies. We want to give time to recover. So this week I probably will practice once or twice. And then next week I have a rodeo, so we'll be performing Friday and Saturday. Next week I'll probably just trick ride early on next week, and then just mentally prepare for everything else and not so much practice, because let her body recover before Friday and Saturday. It is hard because it's hard on our bodies. So yeah, so those are the 10 questions y'all have asked me on YouTube, Instagram. I don't think I put it on my Facebook. Oh, I put it on my TikTok though. So I hope that helped and answered some of your questions. If you have any more, put them in the comments. I'll be glad to type them up and answer any of those as well. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I wanted to kind of do something different. I feel like my videos are just kind of like the same thing. So I'm trying to change it up, trying to get some new content out there for y'all and answer some questions. I want to do some more how-to videos. And yeah, so next week, well, I gotta get 2 more videos out this week. But next week we will have some rodeo vlogs, packing the horse trailer, getting Cody ready, some trick riding practice. So a lot of fun stuff to do. Got some fun stuff I'm gonna be trying for y'all, and you will be seeing it in the videos. But yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you have any more questions, drop them in the comments. I'd be glad to answer them. And I will see y'all on Wednesday. If you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. And hit that notification bell so you will be notified whenever I post a new video. And I will see y'all on Wednesday.